You're listening to Thunder and Lightning on SuperTalk Mississippi, covering Mississippi State sports like nobody else. With Sports Talk Mississippi's Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk of On3 Sports. Now get ready for Thunder and Lightning.
It's Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian Hadad and Robbie Faulk here with you on a Wednesday morning. Thanks for joining us here at supertalk.fm or wherever it is that you get podcasts from. Appreciate you guys out there, our great listeners, especially our servicemen and women out there taking care of us. Want to thank our sponsors over at Strange Brew Coffee House and Churn and Spoon Ice Cream. Start your day the right way with a trip to the drive-thru over at Strange Brew Coffee House here in Starkville or at Brupolo over in Tupelo. It'd be a little weird, Robbie, if Brupolo was in Doloroso.
It would be a little weird. If that was in Jerusalem, it would make a little more sense, I guess. Isn't that the street in Jerusalem, the Via Doloroso?
I don't know the answer to that one. That's what I don't know.
That's more around your stomping grounds. So.
It is. It's closer to home, but I don't know that neighborhood. I can't say.
It was the so it was the processional route in Jerusalem that apparently Jesus carried the cross.
It's called what is it called?
The Via Dolorosa.
Okay.
In Italian, it's translated to the Way of the Rose.
That makes sense. So,
yeah.
There you go. Wherever you're in our great state, you can enjoy Strange Brew Coffee each and every morning. It's just a click away at strangebrewcoffeehouse.com. The Mississippi Beef Council wants to remind you that beef, it is what's for dinner. Whenever you're cooking out this weekend, nothing beats the sizzle of beef on the grill. But hey, if you don't want to cook out, if you want to make it a nice, easy weekend, or hey, looking ahead to next weekend with Mother's Day, if you want to take mom out for a fantastic meal, we have great steakhouses all around this state, ready and willing to take you in and give you a fantastic meal. So to go eat one. Go get you a steak this weekend. Beef, it's what's for dinner. Thanks to our friends, the Mississippi Beef Council. College Corner, collegecornerstore.com is the place to find the maroon and white merchandise that you're looking for. I know that you're looking for new gear. Again, Mother's Day, just over a week away. Go get mom something great from College Corner. 2 locations in the Jackson area. They're in Ridgeland by Fleet Feet, Flowood by the Half Shell, or you can shop online at collegecornerstore.com. Restaurant Tyler is Starkville's flagship restaurant. For lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch, the best meal in town is at Restaurant Tyler. Hey, Mother's Day is on a Sunday. Are you sensing a theme? I don't know how I'm going to tie it into Priority One Bank, but we'll figure that out later. If you want to take mom out for a fantastic meal on Mother's Day, hit up the Sunday brunch at Restaurant Tyler, or anytime you want to take mom out. It doesn't have to be Mother's Day. Appreciate your mothers out there, guys. Take her out to a nice meal. It's at Restaurant Tyler. Lunch, dinner, Sunday brunch, a meal that mom would be proud of is at Restaurant Tyler. Priority One Bank, 16 locations to serve you throughout central Mississippi. Let PriorityOneBank.com be your guide to show you not only they're going to help you invest and manage your money, they're going to show you how they're going to help you prepare for the future. If you live in central Mississippi, you live near a Priority One Bank. If you want to get a bank that applies a different level of service than the one you're used to getting, you need to talk to our friends at Priority One Bank. Let Priority One Bank make you their priority. Anybody get fired today before we did the show? We can just do it.
Not that I'm aware.
All right. I mean, I'm sure somebody in the world did, but I don't think it affects us. So
yeah, I don't think anybody that we can really break down for 35, 40 minutes. So
okay. Well, then let's just do the rumblings. Why don't we?
Fine.
Sound like a good idea to you?
Yeah, like I was hoping for a little bit of a break today, but I think there's going to be a lot of questions about
You knew
this.
that, though. You knew that.
That's fine.
There's no way to get around that. So, all right, the rumblings are brought to you by our friends over at Paul Davis Restoration. When disaster strikes, you need a name you can trust. Paul Davis Restoration is there to help you recover from water, fire, mold, or storm damage 24/7. Their expert team provides fast, professional service to restore your home or business to its original condition. But they don't just stop at restoration. They offer property improvement services to make your space better than ever. Paul Davis Restoration, because your recovery and property improvement are their priorities. Call them at 662-769-7285 and let them bring your property back to life. If you live in the Golden Triangle or Tupelo area, call Paul Davis Restoration. Don't know if Paul Davis can do a coaching search. We'll see if maybe.
I bet they could.
I bet Zach Selman wouldn't. I mean, if I know my guy Jace over there, he's probably got some suggestions for Zach Selman. So
yes. I mean, we all have suggestions for Zach Selman, though.
We do. All right, let's jump in. We got the rumblings today. Our first question comes to us from Brian McDuff. It is asked.
Has McDuff ever been first?
No, but he got in on the viral question of the week, and that is he wants our strategy for the 100 men versus the gorilla.
Okay, so my question on this is, like, when this thing came about, is it with the presumption that nobody has weapons?
Nobody has weapons.
It's hand-to-hand combat.
Hand-to-hand combat. All right. So here's two things I'm going to say. And these are absolutes in my opinion. The humans are going to win, but there's going to be some casualties. Some of us are going to die.
There will be people dead.
All right. My first group, I'm sending in size. I want the gorilla thrown off. I want him, and my one caveat here, Robbie, is I'm getting these people at the peak. All right. I'm getting them at their absolute physical peak when I send them in.
You're picking the 100 men.
I'm going to give you some ideas, right? But my first wave, I want the gorilla thrown off. I want the gorilla going, wait a minute. How big are the rest of these people coming after me? We're sending in peak Andre the Giant, peak Big Show, peak
the Mountain,
Shaq, peak Great Khali. The biggest human beings we can find. That's who's going first.
The Mountain.
Yeah, yes, we're sending the Mountain.
Brock Lesnar in there.
No, Lesnar's. We're holding Lesnar back.
Second wave.
Maybe he might be towards the end. I want him to finish it off. All right. Now
we're to F5 the gorilla into.
Yes, that's the final blow. Yeah. We're going to send in a wave that is almost exclusively NFL defensive linemen. All right. We're sending in Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, Jeff Simmons. We're sending in J.J. Watt. I want peak J.J. Watt. We're sending in Reggie White when he was still shoving guys off with one arm. That's who we're sending. All right.
Do we want actual, like, do we want pro athletes and like wrestlers, or do we want like people that are animals?
Well, we're getting to that. We're going to get to some fighters. We're gonna get.
That's what I'm saying. Like, do we want people that are just psychopath like animals, or do we just want people that just are strong?
We need some quickness too. So we're gonna send in I'm getting them at their peak. Lesnar, Liddell, Anderson Silva. All right, we're sending in quickness, strikers, guys who can stick and move, hit the gorilla with a front kick and get away. That's what we're doing in. I figure that's our best. This is our best strategy. The first wave, some of those guys are just gonna die. But I think they can get some, don't tell me that Andre the Giant, the Big Show, Peak Shaq, and those guys can't get in there with the gorilla. Don't tell me that. Goldberg, we're sending Goldberg in. I mean, what did Bret Hart always say? You're better off wrestling a live gorilla anyway. So just send him in.
Have him kick the gorilla in the head.
Right in the chest. He'll end his career. So yeah.
So what is a gorilla's weakness? Like, where's every person, every animal has something on their body that's the weakest part.
I mean, they're like men, I guess. Probably the nuts.
I don't know. I mean,
put it in Flair
because
just to get him with a low blow.
He's got the barreled chest.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't just like punch him in the heart and kill him.
I want to picture like Andre the Giant and Shaq holding the gorilla's arms back, and the Big Show just and just bringing that big hand down. I'm telling you, we can beat this gorilla. It's doable.
Their biggest weaknesses are their susceptibility to diseases like Ebola and hepatitis. So can we get some homeless people out there to just cough on them?
We'll send Fauci.
Just give them a shot.
We
talked about we can't have weapons, but can we throw some diseased lepers?
We can't have chemical warfare against.
Just let him eat the leper and spread the disease, and we can slowly watch him die.
You remember? Right? I know this is a favorite movie of yours. I know it's a movie you like. Almost Heroes.
Yes.
Where he's like, we could kill the bear, but in 20 or 30 years, time will deal a far crueler fate than anything we could do. Is that what we're going to do?
Bidwell, can you hear me? He grabs his ear off the ground. Yes, I can hear you. He's standing right next to
him. No weapon. We could take this bear with the right guy. Tyson Fury, he's going. We're sending him in. We're sending in who's the guy from Alabama? The
Wilder,
yeah,
the
Deontay Wilder.
boxer.
Yeah. He's going in. We're sending in striker. I got Prime Tyson. I'm sending him in.
That's my thing. Is like I'm wondering like what's gonna kill the thing. Like what
You're gonna have to just
to
beat
the
it
head?
to death. You're gonna have to beat it to death. Yes.
God, this is gonna be.
It's gonna be. I'm telling you, people are gonna die. We're gonna of our 100 we send in, we're losing at least 25.
Man.
But if we send them in waves, this girl is not gonna know what it's up against.
Where did this whole thing come from?
I don't know, but it's great. I love it. So that's our answer. Caleb Goddard brings us back to Mississippi State. If an in-season change was going to be made eventually, why didn't someone go ahead and make a move after the LSU or even the Florida series? After the Florida series would have made a lot of sense. Yeah. I think he wanted to see how they bounce back. Because if they had won that series with Auburn, because if you go back to when they beat South Carolina, you and I talked about, look, we'll see what happens with Alabama, beat Florida, whatever happens at Auburn, probably going to lose. If they had lost to Florida and beaten Auburn, it's like a wash, right? And you're just kind of right back where you were. I personally thought that they could have made a move early in the season. I thought after the Oklahoma series would have been a really good time because that you really could have still salvaged this season if it is indeed salvageable.
LSU would have been really good.
Yeah,
probably.
But I guess they wanted to give him a chance to either get out of the hole or finish digging it one way or the other.
Now that I was messaging you in the group the other day and just remarking about the body language of Chris Lemonis, like something seemed off this past weekend. It almost felt like he kind of knew this was coming, and I don't know that to be a fact, but he just kind of looked like kind of dejected in the dugout. Kind of like he had a couple of moments where he was yelling at the umpires and things, but every time they showed him, he was like sinking further and further back in the dugout.
Yeah,
like I just felt like he knew, and I've kind of felt like that for the last couple of weeks, that he knew this was it. I listened to the post game on a couple of these games, and he's just kind of been really kind of dejected, it sounds like. And so I really felt like he knew this was coming. I don't know when the right time would have been to do this. I just know that this was eventually going to happen.
Yeah. Where are we here? Davis Medford. How realistic is a Wes Johnson hire?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's just because there are a couple of things. He's at a really good spot at Georgia, and I know that Mississippi State's accomplished more than Georgia. Georgia's not seen as a big baseball brand, but it's still Georgia. They are investing in baseball. They extended him through the 2030 or the 2031 season. I can't remember exactly. He's getting paid $1 million a year. They got NIL money. They're in a good space. There's really no reason for him to leave. He's at a good spot. And plus, it's going to cost Mississippi State millions to buy out his contract, plus what you're going to have to pay him. So I had him on my hot board just because it made sense with him being tied to Mississippi State. But even in there, I made points that I don't think it happens.
Yeah. Also from Davis, when will we probably see Ace Reese leave?
I don't know. I don't like to speculate on that stuff because I don't know anything of substance that says he will.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I think Mississippi State fans will see someone doing really well and immediately think they're going to transfer.
I'm telling you, Mississippi State fans are the exact opposite of Ole Miss fans in that regard. Ole Miss fans will be like, that guy, we're going to lock that guy up. He's never leaving.
And they'll fight you if you suggest that he is.
I mean, Mississippi State fans, guy hits a home run in his first at bat. Well, he's going to transfer out.
They've been trying to push Josh Hubbard into the portal for the last 2 years. And Josh Hubbard's even quoting that, like, there was that one guy that was, like, screaming at him for putting out the graphic that said he was keeping his eligibility at Mississippi State. Mm-hmm. And he quoted him as, like, I said in the graphic that I'm keeping my eligibility at Mississippi State if I want to come back.
Right.
And the guy was mad, apparently. So that's what you're dealing with here. Is like, I just feel like people will just, anytime you have somebody that's good at Mississippi State, they're gone. And we only have like, 3 or 4 guys that have actually done that in these major sports.
Yeah.
Ra Thomas, Xavion Thomas, I guess, and I guess Mario Craver is in the mix there. Keyshawn Murphy, 3 or 4 guys. I mean,
yeah,
not a huge group. But yeah, I mean, here's what I'll say about the transfers. Just don't worry about the roster at Mississippi State. It could be completely gutted in the offseason. It has to happen if it is. I mean, you had to have a coaching change. It would suck if you lose a lot of this roster and not able to retain a lot of them. But with the transfer portal now and how quickly you can turn the program around, you just cannot be worried about that. You might have a terrible season next year, and we've seen that in these transitions. But you just can't worry about losing a player here or there. There's not many guys on this roster that I look at that I say are not replaceable.
Yeah. All right, Papa Craad says, you either have to walk from Columbus to Greenville or ride a bike from Gulfport to South Haven.
Oh,
I got the numbers here. It's 355 miles from Gulfport to South Haven. It's 161 miles from Columbus to Greenville. I would also let you know that, I mean, think about Columbus to Greenville. That's a pretty flat route, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely walking.
That's going to be 82 the whole way.
Yeah. You could probably walk. Let's assume that I'm allowed to stop for food. You're talking about like walking like 5 miles, grab something to eat, 5 more miles. You could be done in like a couple, like what? Probably less than a month.
Well, you probably have to walk to Starkville to get food.
From Columbus to Starkville, yeah. But
and then from Starkville to Mathiston.
Yeah.
And then
like that. You got to break it down into
Mathiston to Eupora to Winona.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be.
And you can look. You can
be a couple of 30 miles.
I can buy food in Columbus, right?
Yeah.
Buy some candy bars, some chips, whatever, and I'm walking. I'm ready to eat, and yeah, you can make it work. I would much rather walk 161 miles than bike 355 miles.
Yes.
All right. There we go. It's a good question, though. Where are we here? The battered Bulldog. If Paul Heyman is building a super stable around Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker, name some other potential members of the group, and what is the stable's name? What is the stable's name is the more interesting question to me. Because they all have names. What do we call? What are we calling this group?
I don't know. They always come out of left field with some of these.
Yeah, they didn't name. I didn't watch Raw last night. Did they name any? Did they do anything?
I haven't watched it either.
Okay.
I'm trying to think who's kind of like floating around right now. Sami Zayn doesn't really have a storyline right now. He got left out of.
Could he be a heel like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's done that before.
Yeah, but it was like the crazy heel. It wasn't like the put on a suit heel.
Well, no, I think he can do that. So here's what I'll say about Sami. He was left out of WrestleMania, and he uses that to fight back against the establishment, if you will, the baby faces, the people that Triple H and others have pushed into the spotlight. He had that spotlight taken away from him. Just like a couple years after he was one of the hottest things in the business. So he turns and he goes with Paul Heyman and
I don't mind this.
Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else would work. You might not need anybody else other than those 3.
Yeah, 3 is plenty.
3-man stable.
Yeah. Adam Cornathan asks, I was thinking maybe if Robbie would report some negative that happens on the field in a positive way, it won't sound so negative. Like Roger Rees as the sheriff of Rottingham. Your thoughts? I don't want any bad news. I had a good night's sleep. I had a good BM. The last thing I need is any bad news.
Wasn't your mole over there? I don't how can I report it in a positive way, and how can you tell that I'm being negative? That's what I don't understand about some people's like.
You need to rewatch Men in Tights so you can get some ideas.
If I'm tweeting something, sometimes people take it as negative, and it's just kind of reporting what I'm seeing. And I haven't shown you any emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what side I'm coming from. How do you know I'm saying it's negative?
Yeah. You also need to mix up your words like he did too.
Yes.
So yeah, you just need to rewatch Men in Tights is what I'm getting from this.
Latrain, it's a good name. It's a good name.
Did you say Abe Lincoln? No, man, I said Hey Blinken.
That's a great movie.
That's so funny. All right. Pat in Paris asks us, more annoying, speakerphone conversation in public or someone that stops in the middle of a crowd and blocks the flow of traffic? Gotta be.
Speakerphone.
Oh, I would have gone the other way. If somebody's like, if you're in the middle of the aisle and you're just like blocking everybody, I can't deal with that. It's like, get the hell out of the way.
I can get around those people. Usually it's just kind of a little nuussance.
Mm-hmm.
The speakerphone conversation where the other person's screaming and you're screaming, it's really annoying.
Okay. All right. I can live with that. Preferred hamburger toppings. You know me. I am meat, cheese, bacon, maybe some A1. That's it.
No vegetables for you.
No, vegetables taste like sad.
It kind of depends on where it is. If it's just like a hamburger at the house, I just want ketchup and mustard and pickle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually what I go with if I go to like concession stand or whatever.
Right. But if you go to
a burger like at a restaurant,
you want lettuce, tomato, and all that.
No onion. That's it.
Okay.
No onion.
Okay. Also, not a question, but bless you both for the constant choice to interact with the Crazies. There's a choice. We had a choice. Nobody told me, Robbie.
I try not to a lot of times, as strange as that may seem to some people. I promise you, I respond to probably about 40% of what I get. The rest is I've either muted or I try my best to ignore. But if some people, they say something so stupid, I want to show people how stupid it was.
Mm-hmm.
And others, I just want to prove wrong. So, yeah, sometimes I'll get in there and mix it up when I'm feeling bored.
I got you. Dugout Dog asks us, give us a break from the baseball questions.
Thank you.
Would you rather be given $1 million or $25 million if you can bowl a perfect game in a 2-week time period? If I bowled for, let's say I got up in the morning, went to the bowling alley, 8 a.m., I stayed there till 8 p.m., I'm 12 hours a day. Do you think by the end of the 2 weeks I could bowl a perfect game? I mean, I am all bowling all the time.
I don't think you could in 2 weeks.
All right, so then I'm taking the $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, $1 million could solve a lot of our problems.
Yeah, no doubt. What's the best? I've bowled 150 once. I don't think I've ever gotten to 200s. So, I mean, we're talking about a big jump. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Just take the $1 million and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Steven asked, did Positive Robbie make this happen quicker? I don't think we can underestimate the fact that you were positive on Monday's podcast, and 12 hours later, a change was made.
Is that new science? We're developing new science every day.
Well, the thing about T&L Industries is we are at the forefront of science, and we are making new discoveries every day.
We are scientific.
We haven't made this a scientific law yet. It's not a theory yet. This is still a hypothesis. We're going to have to continue. What we're going to do is we'll get to football season, and we'll really put Robbie to the test on that.
I did tell you, though, I said I'm going to try something different. Right. See what happens. See if we can mix it up. See if we can create some mojo, and we'll see if that happens. If
every instinct you have is wrong, the opposite, therefore, must be correct.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Also, thoughts on our team's draft class. You want to go first?
It felt like every Steelers draft ever. They got an Ohio State defensive guy. They got a couple of guys from Iowa. It's like Big Ten Central, pretty much. Mm-hmm. They did get Will Howard, who I really like. I mean, I don't think he's going to be the quarterback of the future or anything, but add some good depth. They obviously looked at this quarterback draft class and were like, nah, I'm not going to waste a big pick on this. I don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. I'm guessing it's going to be Aaron Rodgers and then just punt and get to next year and try to draft a better quarterback. Mm-hmm. But with what they had available this year, they did not they didn't want to dip their toe in that in the first couple rounds. It looked like.
I like the Saints' first round pick. You know, they have so many needs, man. And so building up you never got worse by drafting good offensive linemen is how I'm going to look at it. But I saw a mock draft yesterday. The march to Arch is already in full effect. They had the Saints going number 1 overall. I have just gone ahead and reconciled myself with it's going to be a terrible season. Let's just get through it and get a great quarterback next year and then start moving forward.
Y'all had those good seasons with Drew Brees, and it made you forget the fact that
no, I never forgot.
Saints are the Saints.
One thing I will say, something I found interesting. So they drafted Tyler Shuck, the quarterback from Louisville. He will be the last ever player drafted in the NFL born in the 1900s.
Really?
He was born in 1999. He's 25, almost 26 years old.
That's crazy.
There will never be another player drafted into the NFL born in the 1900s, or at least there shouldn't be. I don't know why the NFL would draft a 27-year-old player next year.
The fact that we're calling them the 1900s more prominently now
makes you hurt, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm trying to fan on here. You go ahead and you keep whining about that. I'm with you on it though.
I was born in '89, and the fact that there's a rookie quarterback coming in that was born
10 years.
Just 10 years later.
Yeah.
Makes me feel something.
There you go. Let's see here. Brogan Fairchild. Brian, what are your thoughts on Wrexham becoming the first club to ever get promoted on 3 consecutive seasons in the EFL? What would be an American sports equivalent to that feat? It would be kind of like, it's tough to do it with the pros, but it would be like if Jackson State's not even a good example. If Delta State next year announced let's say they won the national championship in Division II, right? And they immediately announced they were moving up to FCS. And then they immediately won the next year. They won the FCS national championship. And they were like, hey, we're moving up to FBS now. Maybe that's not the best example because FBS and the Premier League, they're not there yet. And I'll be honest, I think it's going to take a long time to get to the Premier League. The championship is tough. Those are tough teams. You got everybody is scratching and clawing to get to the Premier League. I don't know that they're going to get up there right away. I don't think they're doing 4 straight promotions. That seems impossible. But it's a really cool story. It's simple as it shows the old adage, man. In pro sports, if you got money, you can win. Simple as that. If you could pluck any 3 total restaurants, bars, stores, or attractions from any SEC town with less than 100,000 people and place them in Starkville, what would they be? Okay. How many people live in Tuscaloosa?
No clue.
Tuscaloosa population over 100, so that's no good. Can't get Dreamland. I know one right off the top of my head. I'm moving Southern Coop to Starkville. By the way, have you seen the new one?
I have not.
They moved. They got like the TrackMan golf stalls in there now. So you can eat wings and hit golf balls. They got a big bar, full service bar now. It's awesome. I went and ate there Friday after we got done with the remote. I'm moving Southern Coop for sure. Here's the problem. Like, what other SEC towns are under 100,000?
So that's what I don't know is the climate of the SEC as far as would Auburn be in there? I don't really have anything in Auburn that I want to move.
Auburn's population is 82,000, but what do I want to move from Auburn? Yeah. What's Fayetteville's population? Fayetteville's 209,000. No good. I know Baton Rouge is over 100. Columbia, South Carolina.
Baton Rouge is a small city.
Is Athens, Georgia over 100? Athens over 100. Gainesville, which again, I don't know. Florida population over 100. Obviously, Austin is going to be. College Station is going to be. But College Station might not be. Let me see here.
Surely it is.
It is 125, yeah. I think the only 2 cities in the SEC under 100,000 are State and Ole Miss. So on that note, I'll move Southern Coop. I'll move I think St. Leo's is a really good restaurant. And I'll move you got anything? Ajax Diner?
You know what? I'm not going to promote Oxford today.
All right. I hear you.
Or any day.
All right, I got you. Well, now we've moved into Starkville though. So
I'm good. I'm good with what Starkville has. I don't need anything in Oxford to make me happy.
All right.
Starkville has enough restaurants. I'm good.
Okay. Is there anything else? I was like, could I pluck Austin Simmons and maybe a couple of offensive linemen? Take them.
Well, they're not restaurants, so no.
Yeah. They attractions?
No,
No.
they're.
Okay.
I guess they did say attractions.
Yeah. All right, we'll do one more here, then we'll go to the break. Monroe Walker, what type of meat should be cooked on the grill for the Kentucky series? Deer, ducks, or doves? Or some exotic like coon or possum? I wouldn't cook coon or possum. I learned the other day. No, God, no. I learned the other day that coon is something you cook in the crock pot. You don't want to.
Yes.
I didn't know. I didn't know coon was a real thing that people were eating.
Yeah, you cook it in. You kind of like stew, like rabbit.
Yeah, like a pot roast almost.
Yeah. Squirrel.
Dove and deer would be. I mean, you can do a hunting cooking. I'm all for that.
It's turkey season.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right, let's move into the rest of the show. That's brought to you by our friends over at Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the heart of the Cotton District. I don't think there's any coon on the menu or any possum at Two Brothers, but there is smoked Southern soul food. Perhaps you should just go enjoy that instead. Go grab some great. Today was Taco Tuesday. $2 tacos, $2 margaritas on Tuesdays at Two Brothers. And then today, as you listen, is Wing Wednesday. So they always have great specials. And, of course, the older brother, the home of the fancy sandwich. For lunch, they get those fantastic sandwiches, but they have a fantastic dinner menu as well with some really cool, nice things that you can't get anywhere else in Starkville. So you need to check out their dinner menu as well. If you're going to be in the Cotton District this weekend for Super Bulldog or the Derby, make sure you're headed to Two Brothers or the older brother. Great products, great service. Every business likes to promise it to you. They deliver it to you at Advantage Business Systems. They've been doing that for 50 years. I like that. Yeah. It sounds like a turkey call almost. If you are in the market for a new copier, printer, computers, whatever your business needs, contact our friends at Advantage Business Systems. They'll take care of you with fantastic service after the sale. They know how to take care of their customers. They've been doing it for 5 decades. They make it easy. 601-362-9192 or visit them online, absms.com. Find out how Advantage Business Systems will help your business do business. If you're going to be in Starkville this weekend, before you go to the game, make sure you're headed to Maroon & Co. They have the biggest and best selection of all the MSU gear here in the city of Starkville. Everything you need maroon and white under one roof. And, of course, best of all, we'll save you a little money with our promo code, Thunder15. You can use that in-store or online at maroonandco.com, and you can get 15% off regular price. Some exclusions will apply. Next time you're in Starkville, before you go to Davis Wade, Duty Noble, The Hump, wherever it is, make sure you head to Maroon & Co. John asks us, what type of player did Lonus recruit that was different than what Cohen and Canizero recruited? I don't necessarily know. I mean, we talked about that a little bit yesterday. Did Lonus just not recruit the David Mershon type players as much? Or what? What's the deal there?
That's what I think. I definitely think that was the problem. We saw a lot of the you can kind of tell, like, Andy Canizero's type. He went after those alpha guys. He went after the Tanner Allens and guys like that. I mean, I felt like they got away from that. They got away from the physical bodied guys too. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think they had the same kind of bodies out there that they used to have. Even dating back to John Cohen, when you see the Jordan Westbergs and the Justin Foscues and just the big physical guys. Connor Hazak came in and was kind of that kind of guy, but that was a portal player. I don't know. It was kind of all over the place. I mean, he had up and down recruiting classes. Those recruiting classes that came right after the national championship, those were not very good. And then I think he kind of got back into it. The last couple of years have been a lot better, but just didn't see a whole lot of depth in the classes like it used to be. The classes used to be really deep. You would lose a couple of guys, and you would have other guys that would come to school and develop and end up being first-round draft picks. State hasn't had as much of that, although, like I said, they did get kind of back on track, and they had a really good draft class last year. So, I don't know. I think most of it was probably the fact that it was a disconnect on those guys that could just go in there and will themselves to ball games. The Logan Tanners and such.
All right, I got it. If Cohen was coaching this group of players, how much better would this team be? Yeah, I think it would be better. They would be a lot mentally tougher. I don't think there's any question about that.
Cohen was, I think sometimes people mistake the AD for the baseball coach.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the best coaches, arguably one of the best coaches Mississippi State's ever had. I'd put him in the top 3, just top to bottom coach. Development, recruiting, evaluation, knowledge of the game. John Cohen was a great baseball coach. Mm-hmm. That's why I was really shocked that he left the game when he did, because I felt like he was in his prime. He could have done a lot more at Mississippi State.
He would have won a national title. There's no question.
You look at what they did. By the way, the staff he had when he got here was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
To build a staff where every single person on that staff ended up going to become a head coach in Power 4, or at least in lower, not a group of 5, I guess, and then 3 SEC coaches, or 2 SEC coaches, is really incredible. You had Nick Mingione, Butch Thompson. Mingione was kind of the entry-level position, and then Butch Thompson was his pitching coach, and Lane Burroughs. And Thompson and Burroughs especially, they got this thing rolling. If you look at the guys they recruited when they first got here, Adam Frazier, Hunter Renfro, Kendall Graveman, Chris Stratton, Chad Gerardo, they identified him, and the job that Butch Thompson did developing him into an MLB pitcher was incredible. Their evaluations and development, that's perhaps arguably the best staff that they had over the course of a 6-7 year period.
Yeah,
so that was really impressive. The group that he had, I thought John Cohen was a great baseball coach.
All right, moving on. Where are we here? Working for the weekend. Rank these least to most frustrating to watch. Constantly walking batters, constantly giving up first down on 3rd and long, opponents constantly draining 30-pointers, or your fantasy football opponent having a record day. I just want to point out that our buddy Chris Bolton, he beat me twice this year in fantasy football. I ended up winning the league championship, but he beat me twice in the regular season. He had the day that Jawan Jennings had 4 touchdown catches. He had him that day. And the day, I think it was, I can't pronounce it, Puka Nakua, you know what I'm talking about? Plays for the Rams.
Yeah, Rams.
He had a day where he had 13 catches for 250 yards. That was the 2 times that he played me.
Yep.
I wanted to shoot Jawan Jennings the next day. I was like, I cannot believe this guy had 4 touchdown catches.
That's very frustrating. Sometimes.
The correct answer to me is walking batters. That's the most frustrating.
Especially leading off inning or 2 outs.
Yeah. I can, you give up hits. I get it, man. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough out there.
Tip your hat.
Yeah, but you're letting one guys get on base. I can't deal with that. The second one to me is 3rd down. Although I said that, man. Gosh, this basketball season about drove me crazy with those 3-pointers.
But that game against A&M where State constantly had them behind the chains and they just kept converting 3rd and long.
So annoying.
It makes you want to jump, and not David Lee Roth jump, leap out of the press box.
No, you wouldn't want to jump like Roth jumped. You wouldn't want that. No. Let's see here. Also, David Lee Roth. Roth is his last name. No, Lee Roth. It's just Roth. It's just Roth. Also, if you were the star of a sitcom, what would your catchphrase be? Do I have a catchphrase now? You know what it is. I know what it is. That's mine.
That would be your catchphrase.
It'd be looks like your report card came in. All F's, and you just hear me in the background going,
What would you do whenever they played the sad music, whenever it was like, well, what is this? Pull out a joint out of the backpack.
Ew.
Da-da-da.
To be continued. A very special episode. So what about you? What is your
I don't know, probably 50.
Nah, that's not. You know what yours would be? Yours is actually more of a gesture. So if you're not watching, this is a
Mine
good.
would probably be. It'd be a little weird.
This that's actually really good. Yeah, like would be a little weird if she got all A's. That would be a little weird. There you go. There you go. I was gonna say yours should be
Laugh track, laugh track.
a gesture. So if you're not watching on YouTube right now, but yours should just be like,
Let's go.
"That's
Let's
you.
go.
That's you.
That is my thing.
It is your thing." Ryan Reynolds, the actor, after how
Is that
many years?
Deadpool?
Speaking of Wrexham, after how many years of mediocre to terrible Big Three MSU sports seasons will the baseball national championship no longer be worth the "I would do anything for state to win" statements made by every MSU fan in 2021? We've reached the point.
I think we're there.
Here. This is it. The train has arrived.
If we would have known this back in 2021, would we have said, "But I won't do that"?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
I
I don't
do anything for a national championship, but I won't do that.
But I won't give up literally everything with Mississippi State sports.
No.
We should have just not agreed to that, I think.
Yeah. The devil makes these deals because he knows what he's doing down there. So, Cameron Worm.
Big Worm?
What changes would you make to the transfer portal and or NIL to benefit all schools? I just think, I guess we've been talking about it. You got to make these players employees so that you can stabilize. You can write contracts and they can be buyouts and everything, so that these guys aren't just jumping from school to school like this. I don't have a problem with the transfer portal. I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. But at the same time, we got to have a little bit more. Like the schools have got to regain just a small measure of control. I still want the players to be able to profit. I want them to have freedom of movement, but at the same time, it feels like the Pandora's box has been opened, and we got to get all that stuff back in a little bit as best we can.
I think the biggest thing is you got to have contracts.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to say that these kids are employees. I know the NCAA and the schools don't want to do that, but they've got to be. That's the only way you're going to be able to get any kind of control over this. You get a contract, 2 or 3 years, 1 year, I don't know, whatever they want to say,
mm-hmm.
and you have buyouts in your contract. The school that wants this guy is going to have to pay this buyout to us. The money goes back into our revenue share, and in that way, it just kind of cycles it over again, because this is like the stuff with Nico's brother at Arkansas. I mean, what money did he get over the last few months only to just say, I think I'll leave in the spring?
Yeah, there's got to be something done about stuff like that. I agree 100%. Also, not a question, I apologize. My wife has been asked if she is Mrs. Big Worm when meeting new people. She is absolutely Mrs. Big Worm. Yeah, there's no question.
Miss Big Worm.
Miss Big Worm?
Big Worm?
Everett Patterson, what are your top 3 cleanest football uniforms in the SEC? I'm going to give you mine. Alabama's. Just traditional. Perfect.
Just because it's traditional. Yeah, I can go along with that.
I love Florida, orange helmet, blue jersey, orange pants. Love that. I don't know why. I think that's a great looking uniform. So that's it. And then, I like Kentucky's with the silver, the metallic silver helmet, blue pants, or maybe they're all blue. I don't mind that. I like LSU's the home whites. I mean, again, it's just tradition. That's a good one.
Yeah, LSU and Bama are in there for me just because of the traditional look.
Tradition, yeah. That might be it. LSU.
I love Florida. Whenever Florida has those throwback helmets.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of another jersey of theirs I like. They had another clean jersey that was very just simple. I forget what it was. It was blue, I think. But yeah, for me, it's probably Florida, Bama, and LSU. Right. And I love LSU's helmet.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, big fan. Big fan of that. Trying to think if there's anybody else. Yeah, no. Robert Dance, was Parker or Lamonis messing up with the pitchers, meaning leaving them in too long and giving up too many runs? that's been kind of a topic of discussion of how, it feels like what they were doing last year and what they're doing this year is a little different. Maybe we'll get an answer this week now that Parker's the one making all the decisions.
That is that's an immaculate beard he has there.
Yes. Also, he tells us to keep eating American beef. My friend Robert, you got no worries on that one, my friend. We will continue to eat as much beef as you put in front of us.
Yes. To his question, what was the question again? I was distracted.
The beard distracted you. Parker or Lemonis, where do State's pitching issues come from this year?
I think it's on Parker. I think Lemonis hired Justin Parker to run the pitchers his way. Mm-hmm. And they didn't go out and get hardly any talent out of the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. One of the guys that they hoped that could be a starter for him, he went pro. And so they kind of just stuck with what they had, and they wanted to rely on guys that have not pitched for some of them multiple years. Mm-hmm. Coming back from injuries, things like that, leaving people in too long. That's on Justin Parker. I mean, that's the pitching coach. I think he's a really good pitching coach. My opinion on him hasn't changed, but I think this year is certainly the blame falls on him. If we're going to give him credit for last year, he deserves some of the blame, if not all of it, this year.
I don't disagree with you. Let's see here. Jackson Waddle, hearing the list of recruits that didn't pan out on Friday's episode was eye-opening. Although it's early, who are some guys from the past 2 recruiting and portal classes you see having an impact in the years to come? I mean, the easy choice there is Camario Taylor. That's the easy pick.
Yes. 100%. And I think that he's going to have a very special career, barring some injuries. I can't see him faltering the way that he handles his day-to-day and the talent that he has. I think he's going to be really good.
I think if you look back at the 24 class, I think Jimothy Lewis is on the path to have a good career. I think the move to defense has benefited Stonka Burnside quite a bit. I think he'll be a good player for Mississippi State. I think Xavier Gayton has a chance. I think he just needs reps. He's talented though.
It's just I just don't know how many reps he's going to be able to get.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like they need to find a way to get him.
They need to do something with him, but I don't know what that is.
And then class of 25, I think Tyler Lockhart, you heard his name enough in his first spring to make you think, okay, maybe he's got a little bit about him. I think A.J. Rice is maybe the same guy. I think those 2 guys can be good linebackers for Mississippi State going forward. Beyond that, maybe Tyshawn Willis. I just like the idea of a pass rusher, but I don't know for sure. Big jump from 1A to where he's going to be.
Yeah. He ain't gotten here yet either. I'm interested to see how he transitions to the SEC this summer.
Yeah, that's a guy I would have liked to have seen him here in the spring, but it just is what it is. Brick Thomas asks us about the gorilla. He says if every man is just a normal man, it's not,
no chance.
Not winning. You got to have.
He's gonna throw us around like a rag doll.
Yeah, you got to have elite guys there. What fictional character would you pick for the coach of Mississippi State baseball?
Who's a great baseball coach that's fictional?
Lou Brown.
Would he? But I don't think he would do well in this era.
Yeah, he does.
And that was MLB too. So.
Yeah. Not a lot of movies about baseball.
Could Gordon Bombay coach this baseball team? He resonated well with the kids.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not really a great baseball coach movie. Rob Montgomery, do you have a good story about Lemonis outside the baseball side of things, like an interaction you had with him, a personal quirk he had, or something he did in the Starkville area? I have 2. One, he was obviously a listener of this podcast because many times he would see me out at Kroger buying whatever I was going to buy, and he'd look at my car and be like, "There's no beef in there." He's like, "I thought you were always about eating beef." I was like, "Well, I'm having chicken today, Coach." He's like, I'm just saying, I thought you were all about the beef." I was like,
maybe that was just a fat joke.
No. Well, what's he going to say?
Well, I mean, he's with you. I mean,
yeah. No, he was like, "I thought you always hear you talking about beef." Why are you eating chicken? Like, well, we wanted chicken today, coach. So he would pick at me about that every now and then. The other one, I told the story on the radio the other day. So as we've talked about before, Mike Leach came to my house the night before he passed away, but Chris Lonus was there as well. He was at that party as well, and had a great time. Fantastic.
That's where he found out he wasn't actually giving up beer like people said he was. He was putting down the milk.
He was having some brews. So
he walked in and said, I thought y'all said Robbie wasn't going to be here.
That's right. So about 3 or 4 days later, I get a call, and it's Coach Lemonis. And he's just like, hey, I just wanted to check on you. And I'm just like, I'm fine, Coach. You don't have to worry about me. Wow, what's going on? He's like, I know a lot of people have been talking to you about this, and I know it's something you probably want to get past. But at the same time, it's gonna be something that you're gonna have to deal with right now. And I just want to make sure you were okay. I was like, oh man, Coach, I'm fine. Like I'm more annoyed that people are concerned about me than anything else. I'm like, give your concern to Coach Leach's family and to other folks, not to me. I'm fine. He's like, okay, well, I just want to check on you, man. All right, thanks. I had a great time. Appreciate you having me over. All right. And I was just like, that was something nice. He didn't have to make that phone call.
Yeah.
So that's 2 for me for Coach Lemonis.
One of my things with him was that, and that it kind of had to deal with covering team, but every year he always left us Two Brothers or Lost Pizza or something.
Taste last year.
The final game, he gave us a meal.
Yeah.
And always wrote a letter like, hey, I just want to say I appreciate you guys' coverage or whatever.
Yeah.
That really, and we made a point to tweet it out and show people what kind of person he was to do that. That really meant a lot to several of us who have been critical of him and know that he doesn't like it, to still be able to say, you know what, they got a job to do. They've covered this team. They deserve this. That really spoke of what kind of person Chris Lemonis was.
You left out the best part.
He's
not
dead.
After the 21 season, the last game of the year. Not only did he buy food, but he bought us a couple of cases of beer as well, and we had those up in the press box.
He did.
So, we knew the food was there, so we come back from the press conference. We're working.
That was
out
year
there.
one.
Was that year one? And then the SID was Greg Campbell at the time. He's like, hey, Coach brought y'all one other thing. He had 2 cases of Bud Light. We were like, let's go. So enjoy the cold one and Duty Noble up there in the press box on Coach Lemonis. That was nice of him.
He that was a really, I don't think, one other time we had Joe Moorhead bought us some barbecue and we went and watched film that time, but
yeah,
I don't think anybody else is. I can't recall anybody else doing that.
Nah. So, all right, Cartel Jones asks us, I will defend Robbie.
John Cohen sure didn't do it.
No. I will defend Robbie to the ends of the earth. If you were leading the search for the new coach, where would you take him to eat, and what would he have to order for you to say this ain't the guy? If we took him to Two Brothers and he got a salad, I'd be like,
Yeah, if he bit into the chicken and was like, oh, this is a little spicy.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. Or if we go somewhere where we eat crawfish and he's like, ooh, this is nasty. Or
if we went to Boardtown and he was just like, y'all have a cauliflower crust? No, I'm out.
This fish is gross. This catfish is gross. Ooh,
if we went to Odie's and he got catfish, he was like, I don't like this. Hit the paint, buddy. You're out.
Not meant to be.
Yeah, that's a good call. Playballer DC. So what attracted Vitello to Tennessee when he was there that State doesn't have right now? What is stopping State from hiring the Nick Sabin of college baseball? Well, what happened, what they had at Tennessee was Vitello was kind of, he was an assistant.
He was an assistant coach.
Yeah, they hired him. They were hopeful that he would be good.
That was just catching lightning in a bottle. That there was nothing about that was them flexing their muscles.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Moving on. We've got another gorilla question. Winston asks, can you guys give a 1 sound rating describing the Steelers and the Saints draft class? So you have to make 1 sound, Robbie. Go. Mine is. All right. Also from Winston, who had the best draft in y'all's opinion? I think the guy that I'm just going to tell you who I think got the best player is the Jaguars. They got Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
That guy's a difference maker.
He is. What's he going to play, did they say?
They didn't. I don't think they've said it. I think he'll play receiver. I think you let him play receiver, and then you find some spots for him on defense. I think that's a little bit because you take a little bit less of a pounding that way.
Yeah.
So.
I want to go back to that because I was just scrolling and I saw the Play Baller DC. He also tweeted at me a separate thing.
And
I just want to bring this up. He said he was shocked by my take and that he sees this as a top 5 program that is underachieved and can attract the absolute top coach. If they've underachieved, they've done it forever. They are not a top 5 program in the country. They haven't done anything outside of having, 15,000 people at the game. They haven't done anything to be a top 5 program. I know that hurts for a lot of people to hear because a lot of people believe that Mississippi State has the best baseball program, but history and results don't back that up. The attendance records are awesome, but they don't really mean anything as far as being a top 5 program. There's so much more that goes into that. The resources, I don't believe Mississippi State has the best resources in college baseball. I don't think they have the most money. Tony Vitello is making $3 million. Mississippi State hasn't allotted that much money to a baseball coach, and I don't think they will. I think they have the best stadium, and I think they have the best fan support. And I think they have enough tradition that that you can definitely argue it's a top 10 program. I think D1 Baseball had it number 8 several years ago, but they have not done anything to be a top 5 program all time. The stretch that you talked about yesterday, I can get on board with that. 16 through 21, I think that you could definitely put them during that stretch as a top 5 program. But we're talking about where they are right now. They are not a top 5 program. They're not a top 5 destination. Now, you could go out there this cycle and you could have someone that's looking to get out and they see Mississippi State as a good opportunity that's got better resources than they have. And if you get a hire like Brian O'Connor, who's kind of floating around right now as a name of interest from Virginia, if you hire somebody like Brian O'Connor, there is potential there to be that. They have the facilities. You can start to turn the tide a little bit and move up the ranks. But right now, from what they've done as a program all time, I can't say that. You have one national title to show for it. The support, the attendance and stuff is great, but it's just a portion of it. There's so much more that goes into it.
You just brought your own question into the rumblings. That guy didn't even tweet at me.
Well, I didn't get a chance to say anything further on that, and then I saw him, I guess he got so mad about it, he tweeted at me, and then he did a question to me in you.
I got you. All right, Ford Polk, rank these video games: Red Dead 2, The Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto 5, Halo 2, and God of War. Only played 2 of these games. Have you played them all?
I've played all of them.
All right, you rank them.
For me, you're going to disagree, but Last of Us 1 and 2 was my favorite.
Okay.
Game.
Why would I disagree? I just said I've only played 2 of these games.
Because you're going to say Red Dead's your favorite game.
It's my favorite game, but I haven't played the other.
But I'm just saying, you would probably disagree with me.
Okay. I mean,
you would still disagree with me. I think you would like Red Dead more than Last of Us.
Okay.
So I would have Last of Us 1 and 2 number 1 on my list. Red Dead. No, I would go GTA 5 over Red Dead. I like GTA 5 more. And then Red Dead, Halo 2, and God of War.
Okay. What is the most in your feels you've ever been that wasn't a Mississippi State game? This is an easy one for me.
The Ole Miss National Championship?
No, not even close. But it did involve Ole Miss.
The Saints?
No. Ole Miss, Alabama, 2015. When Chad Kelly threw that pass and it got deflected and he just threw it basically behind his back and it got caught for a touchdown. I called a friend of mine and I was just like, I'm never going to church again. Like, there is obviously no God. Like, there is no way you can convince me that the wicked get to thrive like this and there's a just God. You can't convince me of it.
And you never went to church again?
I was out. No. I've been since then. But I was so mad at that moment. I was just inconsolable.
I just said when that happened, like they're not going to lose this game. I mean,
but yeah, I was like, look, they're going to lose this game. Like when it is like they're going to lose this game, and then Alabama's coming back. I'm like, all right, they're going to get the game. They're going to be okay. And then something like that happens. I was just like, I can't live in this world anymore. That's my answer. What's yours?
I mean, like it's one of my proteins probably. And it's probably like the Steelers, but I'm trying to think. Oh, it's the game against the Patriots.
Yeah, I was about to say it's the Patriots game.
Oh my God, I'm still livid over that.
Oh, if my second place would be the Saints, the Rams, the pass interference call.
Pass interference, yep.
That one and the meaningless miracle when they in Minnesota when they tipped the ball up in the air and caught it for a touchdown. I couldn't speak for like 2 hours after that.
Why was it meaningless?
Because they lost the next week.
Oh,
they lost in the NFC Championship. Like, you get a play like that, you got to go win the championship. They just lost the next damn game. The meaningless miracle.
Yeah.
All right.
I remember watching that.
Last one from Ford. Which SEC officiating group is worse? Football refs, basketball refs, or umpires? It's basketball refs. It's not even
basketball
close.
Referees by far.
Yep. Close. Let's see here. Andy Atkinson, please read this headline as the American Dream Dusty Rhodes. You ready?
Yes.
The San Antonio funeral home mogul Dick Tips takes on HOA over billboard removal, daddy. He had that billboard up there that said, when you ready to go on to that better place, come see Dick Tips, if you know what I'm saying, daddy. But they told me I got to take that down. Said it had the people going every which way but loose, if you know what I'm saying, Jack.
He definitely made that name up.
There's no way that guy's name is Dick Tips. Come on, man.
That's got to be fake.
It's got to be. Andy Losick, can we get 4 seconds of silence for the MSU grads of 2025? As high school seniors, they watched Mike Leach knock off the national champs and baseball win it all. They thought the best years in Bulldog history lied ahead. Well, all right, we'll do it. 4 seconds of silence for the graduating class of 2025. Thank you. Also from Andy, if the bearded guy...
I've seen worse.
Yeah, I know, right? If the bearded guy from the Dr. Rick Progressive commercials isn't the best celebrity doppelganger for Brian, then who is? I mean, I don't know.
It does kind of look like you.
It does, I guess. Also, when's the last time you felt like you turned into your parents? So my dad was notorious. He didn't watch TV. He just watched sports.
Yeah.
I turned into that. I don't like, people are always like, oh man, you'd love this show. I don't watch any of them. I don't watch TV. I just watch sports.
When I'm doing something like hanging a picture or assembling something, driving down the road, and I get angry and I get frustrated, and it's like something really simple. It's like, if you just like had your composure, it'll be fine. But I don't do that. That's when I know I'm turning into my dad.
Okay. My
dad gets very frustrated with like putting something together or, trying to put the pool, like fix the pool up. Like he just gets really upset. And that's me. Very much so.
Alexandra Watson, why is it that I'm going to bring her book is correct, but I'm going to bring him book isn't? The English language is struck again, Robbie.
It just sounds better, like when you say her, bring her.
Yeah, that works.
Him doesn't.
Well, yeah, it's like the third person plural possessive, whatever it is, of him is his. And so I don't know why that is, but it is. When you say it out loud like that, it makes you wonder.
Bring him book.
Yeah.
I have heard like kids say stuff like that.
Yeah. Cody, build your all-time Lonus era starting lineup and weekend rotation and predict how many games they would win. You can give me a national championship team for sure out of his all-time team here at Mississippi State. So
catcher's Logan Tanner.
Logan Tanner. Is Hines
third base is
Hines got to be at first, right?
I think you got to put Ace Reese at third base just for the bat, right? He didn't have anybody else that really blew you away at third.
Didn't Westberg play third? Or are we putting him at short?
No, he was a shortstop.
Okay. All right, so then yeah.
Which means you would have to put Justin Foscue at second, unless you want to put Justin Foscue at third. Let's put Foscue at third.
Foscue at third. Westberg at short.
Westberg at short.
All right, second. Marshawn.
Second base would be Marshawn. First base would be, you got to put Hunter Hines at first.
And then your outfield is Mangum, Dakota Jordan,
Tanner Allen,
yeah. That's a good team. God. And then our rotation is Ethan Small, JT Ginn,
Cal Steven.
Or no, Bednar.
Will Bednar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although Steven was better than Bednar for the full year.
He was. But I mean,
Bednar had a good run in the College World Series. But
what about Durangelo?
Year, gosh.
I mean,
and then look at your bench, like some of the players on your bench too.
Rowdy Jordan's on the bench.
Rowdy Jordan's on there. Elijah McNamee's on the bench.
He's on the bench.
Ace Reese is on the bench.
Yeah. You know, you got Sims in the bullpen with Steven and Durangelo.
Hunter Isaac's on the bench.
Yeah. Marshawn's on the bench.
No, we had Marshawn at second.
We did?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah. Trying to think who else. Who are we leaving out, if anybody? Trying to make sure there's not like a big one that we're leaving out.
Can't think of one.
Yeah. Good team. That's the national championship team for sure. All right, Walking Bullies got the high school mascot challenge for you, Robbie. Here we go. Clarksdale.
Bulldogs?
I believe that's correct. I have to look these up. No, they're the Wildcats.
That's Clarkdale, I think I'm thinking of. Is Clarkdale the Bulldogs?
Wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, Clarksdale is the Wildcats. So Clarkdale are the Bulldogs.
I was thinking Clarkdale.
All right. Quitman. They're the Panthers, aren't they?
I believe that's correct. That's where Callan Deere played last year.
And then last is Corinth. They're the Warriors.
Corinth Warriors.
Yeah. There we go. What's your favorite book of the Bible?
Revelation.
Really? Just get to the end, huh?
Well, it's very interesting.
It is interesting. There's no question.
There's a lot of so it's written by John, who was sent to the Isle of Patmos. He was, I believe, the only disciple that wasn't murdered or martyred, I guess you would say. I think that's right.
I'm not sure if you're right or not, but
and he was exiled to Patmos, and there he kind of saw the end of the world and Revelation, the apocalypse, all that. And it's very I don't even know if we have a clear understanding of what every single thing means. I've heard different interpretations from a lot of different people. But there's a lot of things in there. I kind of think was he seeing something that was real? Was he seeing something that we say we think that he thinks this is something like a bird or something, but it's actually a helicopter? I've thought about that stuff. He's transported in time, basically in his visions, and he's seeing the final battle in Armageddon.
Yeah.
And some of the things that he's seeing, is that just modern warfare, or is it and he's just interpreted it as this giant dragon or something? It's just it's actually just a tank or something. I don't know.
That's a good question.
It's a very interesting book, even if you're not a Christian. It's something to delve into and kind of look at and really think.
Yeah. Brett Christensen asks, first of all, he thanks us for our consistent coverage, good, bad, and ugly. That's me. That's the ugly one. What's the best man-to-man compliment? Your lawn looks great. Your grill skills, nice beard. It depends on the guy, right? I'm not a big lawn guy. So if you tell me the food I'm cooking is good, that's probably the best compliment I can get.
It really just depends on what your hobby is.
Yeah. What would yours be?
Spend a lot of time cooking.
What would yours be?
My lawn would be up there. It's not perfect yet, and I'm spending a lot of time and effort on it because I decided when I moved into my house I was going to essentially seed 4 acres or 3.5 acres, and the other portion of it I've put sod down. So I'm trying to slowly get this thing going. And eventually, whenever I get it to where my grass is, I don't have very many patches. I don't have a lot of grass dying off. I don't have a lot of weeds. If somebody came up to me and was like, man, your yard looks really nice, I would be happy.
There is a universal dad compliment, though, or guy compliment. It's you're a good dad.
Yeah.
Every dad wants to hear he's a good dad.
Yeah, that does mean a lot.
So, all right. We've got a lot of questions left, and we've been doing this for over an hour, so we're just going to hit up some of the highlights here.
I think people were excited about the.
They were, but we've hit on a lot of what they said. Mangum Cafe. What is the best pairing with brown gravy?
Mashed potatoes.
Rice.
Rice is good.
Rice. And
pork chop.
Pork chops. That's probably the top three.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the top three. Smothered pork chop, yeah. And then, does this mean the Sunday Blacks are officially over? It doesn't mean it. First off, they haven't, the Sunday Blacks aren't the same Sunday Blacks they've been in a long time.
Right.
The new coach might want them. You never know.
I like the new Sunday Blacks with the state script and the maroon. Yeah, I like those. Yeah. I don't have a problem with the black jerseys.
Alan Kimbrough, how many years will it take to get the MSU baseball program back to the regional, at least given who is hired? 1. If they aren't in a regional next year, you hired the wrong guy. If you're in the top 64 next year, you hired the wrong guy.
Yep, because if you do hire like a Brian O'Connor, he carries enough weight with him. He should be able to pull talent out of the portal, things like that. I mean,
and
Texas didn't miss a beat with Jim Schlossnagle.
Yeah.
Number 1 in the country.
Yeah. And I believe Rob Hadaway will not be addressing your concerns there. Last one here from Caleb Rhodes. I saw the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith in theaters this weekend. In y'all's opinion, were the prequels actually good, or was the hate justified when those movies came out? The hate was justified, but they have aged well. I would say that.
I enjoyed them when they came out. I was still relatively young. I think I was in junior high or
yeah, you were a young man.
So I mean, to me, like it was exciting to have a new Star Wars movie coming out because I'd seen the originals. So I didn't have any issues with them. I mean, I watched them on TV not too long ago, and the graphics and special effects were just awful.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fine.
All right. There we go. All right. Tomorrow's show, we'll talk some more baseball, obviously, with what's going on. Plus, tonight, as you're listening, Tuesday night, we'll be at Duty Noble for the first game of the Justin Parker interim era. So interested to hear what Parker has to say after the game. When State finished up their game with Memphis. So we'll talk about that. We'll start looking ahead, maybe some more hot board news. We do have another SEC preview, our final one of the year, the Vanderbilt Commodores. That'll be on tomorrow's show. And who knows, Phil Lodeholt may strike again between now and then. So we'll talk about that if it happens. Have a great Wednesday, guys. Back with you again on Thursday. For Robbie Faulk, I'm Brian Hadad. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk, Mississippi.